Imagine being calm and collected in the middle of life's most difficult moments, a steady presence amidst the storms of stress, setbacks, and uncertainty. This is the power of Stoic resilience, the ability to stay grounded no matter what life throws your way. Unlike quick-fix solutions or lofty ideals, Stoicism is a time-tested philosophy that helps us find inner peace and unshakable strength by focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot. The beauty of Stoic resilience lies in its simplicity. Through practical steps and mindset shifts, Stoic teachings allow us to cultivate an inner fortress of calm that's not dependent on circumstances. This guide will walk you through 11 key principles to unlock your own Stoic resilience, from learning to embrace every challenge to cultivating a sense of peace within. Each lesson is a tool ready to help you build a life filled with more strength, clarity, and purpose. Lesson 1. Embrace the now, the power of amor fati. In Stoicism, there's a beautiful and transformative idea called amor fati, which translates to love of fate. It's the practice of embracing every aspect of life, not just accepting but loving every twist, every triumph, and every setback. Imagine what life would be like if, instead of resisting the hard parts or wishing they were different, you could find a way to truly appreciate them. For the Stoics, this mindset wasn't about surrendering to misfortune passively, but rather about seeing all experiences as necessary ingredients in our growth and resilience. Amor fati is about choosing to view every experience, positive or negative, as part of the journey we're meant to take. A journey that can build strength, wisdom, and even joy if we allow it to. When we resist reality, wishing circumstances would change, or regretting what can't be undone, we create inner friction and frustration. Think about a time when something didn't go as planned. Maybe you lost an opportunity or had an unexpected setback. Often our first response is to lament it, feeling trapped by what could have been. This resistance creates a spiral of frustration, disappointment, and even bitterness. However, by practicing amor fati, we learn to accept each moment and its purpose, breaking free from this endless loop of regret. We come to see obstacles as stepping stones and every setback as a lesson. This doesn't mean pretending hardships aren't painful, but rather finding a way to be at peace with them, knowing that they're an essential part of our story. To truly embrace amor fati, start small. When faced with minor inconveniences, a delayed train, a bad review, or a sudden change of plans, try pausing for a moment and reframing it as part of your path. Say to yourself, "This is meant to be here," or "This experience is teaching me something." Over time, this mindset becomes a habit, expanding your resilience to handle larger setbacks with the same acceptance. Each challenge becomes less a personal insult from life and more a chance to grow. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher-emperor, once wrote, "A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it." Amor fati teaches us to do the same, to transform every experience into fuel for personal growth. This practice of embracing fate also deepens our appreciation for the present. When we stop wishing for things to be different, we begin to notice what we already have, finding beauty in the imperfections and richness in the ordinary. This doesn't just reduce anxiety about the future, but also amplifies gratitude for the present. After all, if everything happening now is part of the path, then each moment has value, each experience a hidden gift. We stop obsessing over outcomes and begin valuing the process, knowing that every step has meaning, even if we don't understand it yet. Embracing amor fati can transform how we experience life's inevitable ups and downs. It doesn't erase the difficulties, but it does offer a new way to interpret them. By training ourselves to see every situation as necessary, we release ourselves from the grip of regret and resentment, finding freedom in the understanding that our path is unfolding exactly as it should. With amor fati, we're not just surviving life's challenges, we're finding a way to love them, finding peace and cultivating resilience in the process. Lesson 2. Focus only on what you control. One of the most powerful principles in Stoic resilience is the idea of focusing only on what is within our control. This simple but profound concept, championed by the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, helps us channel our energy into what we can truly influence, our own actions, choices, and responses, rather than wasting time or emotional energy on things beyond our reach. The world around us is filled with circumstances that are often unpredictable, from other people's reactions to unexpected changes in our careers, health, or relationships. By learning to let go of the need to control everything, we free ourselves from unnecessary stress and frustration. We become more intentional with our focus and develop an inner calm that cannot be shaken by the chaos of external events. Think about the countless hours we spend each day worrying about things we can't control. A job interview outcome, someone's opinion of us, or even tomorrow's weather. These concerns can consume us, and yet no amount of worry or planning can influence them. When we focus on what's beyond our reach, we lose power and perspective. Stoicism teaches us to distinguish between what is within our control, our thoughts, actions, values, and character, and what isn't, such as external events, other people's choices, or outcomes of our efforts. In letting go of the need to manage what we can't, we gain the freedom to cultivate peace and resilience, no longer burdened by the weight of the uncontrollable. Imagine for a moment that your life is divided into two boxes. In one, you place everything that is within your control, and in the other, everything that isn't. By mentally sorting situations into these categories, you can see where your focus should lie. Say you're anxious about an upcoming presentation. Instead of fixating on whether others will enjoy it, focus on preparing well, refining your message, and practicing your delivery. This shift in attention from outcome to action can greatly reduce anxiety, allowing you to feel empowered by your preparation rather than fearful of an outcome you can't dictate. Every time you consciously choose to focus on what you can control, you take a step toward reclaiming your peace and reducing the stress that comes from trying to manage the unmanageable. Practicing this principle doesn't mean being indifferent to the world or not caring about outcomes. It's about understanding that while you can influence certain situations, the final result isn't always up to you. When we learn to accept this reality, we can experience life with greater grace, feeling grounded in knowing we've done our best regardless of the outcome. This acceptance is empowering. It gives us the confidence to face challenges head-on without the added burden of trying to control every variable. To start applying this mindset, try a simple exercise. Whenever you feel yourself getting anxious or frustrated, ask, "Is this something I can control?" If the answer is yes, focus on the actions you can take. If it's no, practice letting it go, even if just for a few moments. This isn't about giving up. It's about giving yourself permission to conserve your energy for what truly matters, your choices, character, and response to life. By practicing this shift in focus, you'll find a powerful sense of resilience that allows you to engage deeply with life, unshaken by events outside your control. As Epictetus put it, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. With this mindset, you create a foundation of calm and resilience, becoming stronger in the face of life's uncertainties. Lesson 2. Focus only on what you control. One of the most powerful principles in Stoic resilience is the idea of focusing only on what is within our control. This simple but profound concept, championed by the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, helps us channel our energy into what we can truly influence, our own actions, choices, and responses, rather than wasting time or emotional energy on things beyond our reach. The world around us is filled with circumstances that are often unpredictable, from other people's reactions to unexpected changes in our careers, health, or relationships. By learning to let go of the need to control everything, we free ourselves from unnecessary stress and frustration. We become more intentional with our focus and develop an inner calm that cannot be shaken by the chaos of external events. Think about the countless hours we spend each day worrying about things we can't control. A job interview outcome, someone's opinion of us, or even tomorrow's weather. These concerns can consume us, and yet no amount of worry or planning can influence them. When we focus on what's beyond our reach, we lose power and perspective. Stoicism teaches us to distinguish between what is within our control, our thoughts, actions, values, and character, and what isn't, such as external events, other people's choices, or outcomes of our efforts. In letting go of the need to manage what we can't, we gain the freedom to cultivate peace and resilience, no longer burdened by the weight of the uncontrollable. Imagine for a moment that your life is divided into two boxes. In one, you place everything that is within your control, and in the other, everything that isn't. By mentally sorting situations into these categories, you can see where your focus should lie. Say you're anxious about an upcoming presentation. Instead of fixating on whether others will enjoy it, focus on preparing well, refining your message, and practicing your delivery. This shift in attention from outcome to action can greatly reduce anxiety, allowing you to feel empowered by your preparation rather than fearful of an outcome you can't dictate. Every time you consciously choose to focus on what you can control, you take a step toward reclaiming your peace and reducing the stress that comes from trying to manage the unmanageable. Practicing this principle doesn't mean being indifferent to the world or not caring about outcomes. It's about understanding that while you can influence certain situations, the final result isn't always up to you. When we learn to accept this reality, we can experience life with greater grace, feeling grounded in knowing we've done our best, regardless of the outcome. This acceptance is empowering. It gives us the confidence to face challenges head-on without the added burden of trying to control every variable. To start applying this mindset, try a simple exercise. Whenever you feel yourself getting anxious or frustrated, ask, is this something I can control? If the answer is yes, focus on the actions you can take. If it's no, practice letting it go, even if just for a few moments. This isn't about giving up. It's about giving yourself permission to conserve your energy for what truly matters, your choices, character, and response to life. By practicing this shift in focus, you'll find a powerful sense of resilience that allows you to engage deeply with life, unshaken by events outside your control. As Epictetus put it, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. With this mindset, you create a foundation of calm and resilience, becoming stronger in the face of life's uncertainties. Lesson 3. Practice negative visualization. Negative visualization is one of Stoicism's most surprising yet powerful practices for building resilience and appreciating life. This concept, also known as premeditatio malorum or the premeditation of evils, involves mentally preparing for the things that could go wrong. At first glance, it might seem like a pessimistic approach. Why would anyone want to imagine misfortune? But in reality, negative visualization is a practice that strengthens our ability to handle challenges calmly and helps us appreciate what we have. When we actively envision setbacks or losses, we're less likely to be shocked or devastated if they actually happen. This practice trains our minds to see that adversity, however uncomfortable, is something we can face, adapt to, and grow from. Imagine a life where nothing you encounter truly blindsides you. By practicing negative visualization, you prepare yourself to stay grounded and think clearly, even in difficult situations. Say, for example, you're worried about an upcoming project at work. Instead of obsessing over perfection or fearing failure, take a moment to consider what's the worst that could happen. Perhaps the project doesn't turn out as planned or you receive critical feedback. Now, imagine how you would handle that setback, how you would learn from it, adjust your approach, and move forward. By allowing yourself to consider these possibilities calmly and in advance, you diminish the fear around them. You realize that, although setbacks might be challenging, they're rarely insurmountable. You've trained yourself to see obstacles as part of life, not something to dread or avoid. Negative visualization also has a powerful effect on gratitude. When we reflect on what life might be like without certain people, comforts, or opportunities, we start to appreciate these things more fully in the present. Imagine the loss of something or someone dear to you, not to create sorrow, but to increase your appreciation for them now. If you're reminded of the preciousness of your relationships, for example, you may feel compelled to reach out to loved ones more often or cherish your time with them. Negative visualization serves as a mental reminder of the impermanence of life, pushing us to value the present rather than taking it for granted. This awareness can create a greater sense of peace and contentment, knowing that we're truly grateful for the blessings we have right now. It's important to approach this practice gently. Negative visualization isn't about dwelling on fears or creating anxiety. It's a tool to build mental resilience by facing our fears thoughtfully and preparing for them in a way that strengthens us. When we imagine loss or adversity, we're not hoping for bad things to happen. Instead, we're teaching our minds that, if they do, we have the strength to endure. This mental rehearsal makes it easier to manage stress in real life, knowing that we've already confronted these challenges in our minds and prepared ourselves to meet them with calm resolve. To integrate negative visualization into your life, start small. Take a few minutes each day to imagine minor inconveniences or disappointments, a cancelled meeting, a delayed flight, a project that doesn't go as expected. Allow yourself to experience how you would feel, and then remind yourself that you could handle it. Gradually, as you get more comfortable, try imagining slightly bigger challenges and continue to visualize yourself handling them with grace and resilience. As this practice becomes more natural, you'll start to notice a shift in your daily mindset. You'll become more adaptable, less reactive, and better equipped to navigate whatever life brings your way. In the words of Seneca, he robs present ills of their power who has perceived their coming. By practicing negative visualization, you're not only removing the sting of potential hardships, but also building a more resilient, grateful, and prepared mind. Lesson 4. Shift from reaction to response. One of Stoicism's most empowering teachings is the concept of shifting from reaction to response. In life, we often find ourselves caught off guard by events that trigger strong emotions: anger, frustration, disappointment. In those heated moments, it's natural to react impulsively. However, the Stoics believe that there's always a space, however small, between an event and our reaction to it. In this space lies the opportunity to choose a response rather than defaulting to a reaction. Shifting from reaction to response allows us to cultivate self-control, maintain clarity, and act from a place of wisdom rather than emotional reflex. It's about pausing and asking, what's the best way to respond to this situation, rather than letting our emotions dictate our actions. Imagine you're in a frustrating situation, like someone cutting you off in traffic. A common reaction might be immediate anger, honking the horn or muttering words of irritation. But what if you paused for just a moment? By taking a deep breath and widening the gap between the event and your response, you create a space to choose calm over anger. You might realize that this driver's behavior is beyond your control, and by reacting angrily, you're only disturbing your own peace. Stoicism encourages us to use these everyday moments to practice patience and to respond thoughtfully. Over time, these small, deliberate choices accumulate, and we become more resilient and composed, less at the mercy of fleeting emotions. This shift from reaction to response applies not only to minor annoyances, but also to larger, more challenging life events. Imagine you receive disappointing news, a setback at work, or a difficult conversation with a friend. Your initial reaction might be frustration, sadness, or even self-doubt. However, rather than allowing these emotions to drive your actions, you can pause and choose how you want to respond. Perhaps you take a few minutes to process your feelings, reflect on what you can learn from the situation, and consider a constructive response. By allowing yourself this time, you avoid impulsive reactions and instead act in a way that aligns with your values and goals. This deliberate response builds resilience because it teaches you that no matter how challenging the situation, you have the power to choose a thoughtful course of action. One powerful tool for shifting from reaction to response is practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness trains us to become aware of our thoughts and emotions without being ruled by them. When you feel an intense emotion rising, mindfulness helps you recognize it without immediately acting on it. Instead of reacting automatically, you can observe your thoughts and feelings, almost as if you're watching them from the outside. This distance helps you respond from a place of calm and reason. For instance, if someone makes a critical comment, rather than reacting defensively, you might choose to listen, understand their perspective, and respond calmly. This ability to respond thoughtfully not only builds personal resilience but also strengthens relationships, as others begin to see you as someone who acts with patience and understanding rather than impulsivity. To practice shifting from reaction to response, start by incorporating small pauses throughout your day. When faced with a challenging moment, take 3 deep breaths before saying or doing anything. In this pause, ask yourself, what's the best response I can offer in this situation? Initially, this practice may feel awkward, but over time, it becomes second nature. You'll find yourself reacting less and responding more, even in high-stress situations. This approach can help you cultivate a sense of inner calm and control that isn't easily shaken by external events. In the words of Viktor Frankl, a 20th century psychiatrist inspired by Stoic principles, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. By learning to pause, reflect, and respond, we unlock a deeper resilience, allowing us to navigate life's ups and downs with wisdom and grace. Lesson 5. Embrace change as life's constant. One of the foundational principles of Stoicism is the understanding that change is inevitable, and embracing it is essential to inner peace. The Stoics believed that resistance to change is one of the greatest sources of human suffering. When we cling to a desire for things to remain the same, whether it's in relationships, careers, health, or personal circumstances, we set ourselves up for disappointment because life is constantly in motion. To build resilience, we must learn not only to accept change, but to embrace it as a natural and necessary part of our journey. Change is neither good nor bad. It simply is, and it's our response to it that determines whether we experience growth or distress. By learning to navigate the ebb and flow of life with openness, we cultivate a mindset that allows us to adapt rather than resist. Think about a time in your life when things were going well, and then suddenly, without warning, everything shifted. Perhaps it was an unexpected job loss, the end of a meaningful relationship, or a health issue that appeared out of nowhere. In moments like these, our instinct is often to resist, to wish things back to how they were, to question why this happened to us, and to feel anger or frustration at the loss of stability. However, Stoic philosophy encourages us to view these changes not as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, reminds us that the universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. By reframing how we perceive change, we can transform our experience of it from one of fear to one of curiosity and resilience. To fully embrace change, we must also recognize the impermanence of everything around us. Everything in life, our possessions, status, relationships, and even our physical abilities, is temporary. This isn't meant to be a depressing realization. Rather, it's a liberating one. When we accept that nothing lasts forever, we begin to appreciate the present moment with greater intensity. We become less focused on clinging to what we have and more focused on savoring it while it's here. This awareness also frees us from fearing the loss of things, as we come to understand that change is natural and every ending makes way for a new beginning. In embracing impermanence, we cultivate gratitude for each experience, knowing it adds to our journey, however long or brief it may be. Embracing change also means becoming comfortable with the unknown. Many of us avoid change because it takes us into unfamiliar territory, but it's in this space of uncertainty that we find the greatest opportunities for personal growth. Each time we step outside of our comfort zone and allow life to unfold in unexpected ways, we build resilience. We learn to trust ourselves to handle whatever comes our way and to see life as an adventure rather than a rigid path. This flexibility, or psychological agility, strengthens our ability to adapt, making us less likely to feel overwhelmed when things don't go according to plan. To practice embracing change, start with small adjustments. Try taking a different route to work, trying a new hobby, or interacting with new people. Notice any discomfort that arises and remind yourself that it's a natural response. As you grow more comfortable with small changes, you'll find it easier to adapt when larger life changes occur. By consistently practicing this mindset, you begin to build the confidence to face any change with courage and optimism, seeing it as part of your unique journey. In the words of Seneca, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. The more we open ourselves to change, the more resilient, adaptable, and fulfilled we become. Embracing change is not just about surviving life's shifts, it's about thriving because of them. Lesson 5. Embrace change as life's constant. One of the foundational principles of Stoicism is the understanding that change is inevitable and embracing it is essential to inner peace. The Stoics believed that resistance to change is one of the greatest sources of human suffering. When we cling to a desire for things to remain the same, whether it's in relationships, careers, health, or personal circumstances, we set ourselves up for disappointment because life is constantly in motion. To build resilience, we must learn not only to accept change, but to embrace it as a natural and necessary part of our journey. Change is neither good nor bad, it simply is, and it's our response to it that determines whether we experience growth or distress. By learning to navigate the ebb and flow of life with openness, we cultivate a mindset that allows us to adapt rather than resist. Think about a time in your life when things were going well, and then suddenly, without warning, everything shifted. Perhaps it was an unexpected job loss, the end of a meaningful relationship, or a health issue that appeared out of nowhere. In moments like these, our instinct is often to resist, to wish things back to how they were, to question why this happened to us, and to feel anger or frustration at the loss of stability. However, Stoic philosophy encourages us to view these changes not as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, reminds us that the universe is change, our life is what our thoughts make it. By reframing how we perceive change, we can transform our experience of it from one of fear to one of curiosity and resilience. To fully embrace change, we must also recognize the impermanence of everything around us. Everything in life, our possessions, status, relationships, and even our physical abilities, is temporary. This isn't meant to be a depressing realization, rather, it's a liberating one. When we accept that nothing lasts forever, we begin to appreciate the present moment with greater intensity. We become less focused on clinging to what we have and more focused on savoring it while it's here. This awareness also frees us from fearing the loss of things, as we come to understand that change is natural and every ending makes way for a new beginning. In embracing impermanence, we cultivate gratitude for each experience, knowing it adds to our journey, however long or brief it may be. Embracing change also means becoming comfortable with the unknown. Many of us avoid change because it takes us into unfamiliar territory, but it's in this space of uncertainty that we find the greatest opportunities for personal growth. Each time we step outside of our comfort zone and allow life to unfold in unexpected ways, we build resilience. We learn to trust ourselves, to handle whatever comes our way, and to see life as an adventure rather than a rigid path. This flexibility, or psychological agility, strengthens our ability to adapt, making us less likely to feel overwhelmed when things don't go according to plan. To practice embracing change, start with small adjustments. Try taking a different route to work, trying a new hobby, or interacting with new people. Notice any discomfort that arises and remind yourself that it's a natural response. As you grow more comfortable with small changes, you'll find it easier to adapt when larger life changes occur. By consistently practicing this mindset, you begin to build the confidence to face any change with courage and optimism, seeing it as part of your unique journey. In the words of Seneca, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. The more we open ourselves to change, the more resilient, adaptable, and fulfilled we become. Embracing change is not just about surviving life's shifts, it's about thriving because of them. Lesson 6. Find strength in adversity. The obstacle is the way. One of Stoicism's most empowering principles is the idea that adversity itself can be a pathway to strength and wisdom. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher emperor, famously said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, the very obstacles we encounter are not barriers to our progress, but opportunities for growth and development. Stoicism teaches us that challenges aren't merely setbacks or misfortunes to be avoided. Rather, they are stepping stones that lead to personal resilience, character, and wisdom. When we face difficulty head-on and use it as a learning tool, we transform adversity into a teacher. Embracing this mindset means seeing every obstacle not as something standing in our way, but as a vital part of our journey, something that can lead us closer to our potential. To practice this, consider a recent challenge in your life, perhaps a career setback, a conflict with a friend, or even an unexpected health issue. When faced with a difficult situation, our initial reaction is often frustration, disappointment, or even anger. We ask, "Why me?" or "Why did this have to happen now?" This resistance is natural, but it doesn't help us move forward. Stoicism encourages us instead to shift our perspective, asking, "How can I grow through this experience?" or "What strength can I develop from facing this?" By doing so, we break the grip of frustration and empower ourselves to find value in adversity. This shift isn't about dismissing the reality of pain or hardship. Rather, it's about choosing to see these experiences as part of a meaningful journey toward resilience and wisdom. The Stoics believed that our character is like a muscle, growing stronger the more it's challenged. Just as physical exercise builds strength by putting our muscles under stress, life's challenges build mental resilience by testing our resolve, patience, and adaptability. Consider, for instance, how facing a disappointment can teach patience, or how handling a criticism with grace can build humility. Each time we respond constructively to hardship, we build a stronger, more capable self. Obstacles, in this sense, are not roadblocks, but exercises that train us to become wiser, more resilient, and more self-aware. This view of adversity gives us a sense of agency, allowing us to turn difficult situations into valuable experiences that shape our character. An excellent way to integrate this mindset is to make a habit of reflecting on past challenges and the strengths you gained from them. Think of a difficult period in your life and identify the qualities it helped you develop, whether patience, courage, empathy, or perseverance. Recognizing how these traits were born from hardship helps reinforce the idea that adversity can be a catalyst for growth. Once you realize the power of overcoming obstacles, current and future challenges become less intimidating. Instead of feeling defeated or overwhelmed, you can feel prepared, knowing that each struggle has the potential to bring out a stronger version of yourself. When we start viewing obstacles as opportunities for growth, we begin to see life's difficulties differently. We no longer feel victimized by our circumstances. Instead, we feel empowered to transform them. This mindset of turning obstacles into paths forward instills a profound resilience that helps us thrive no matter what life brings. As Marcus Aurelius emphasized, the obstacle is the way. Adversity is not an interruption in our journey. It is the very path we're meant to walk. By embracing obstacles as opportunities, we discover our inner strength, redefine our relationship with difficulty, and ultimately cultivate a life marked by purpose and resilience. Lesson 7. Detachment from outcomes. Focus on effort, not results. One of the most liberating practices in Stoicism is the principle of detachment from outcomes. The Stoics understood that while we can control our actions, we cannot control the outcomes of those actions. This idea, rooted in Stoic thought, encourages us to focus on giving our best effort without attaching our sense of success, happiness, or self-worth to the results. Instead of worrying over outcomes that may be influenced by countless factors beyond our control, Stoicism teaches us to commit fully to the process itself. By detaching from results, we free ourselves from anxiety, disappointment, and the fear of failure. We learn to derive satisfaction from the effort we put forth, finding peace in knowing that we've done our part, regardless of how things turn out. Consider, for instance, the anxiety that arises before a big presentation, a job interview, or a creative project. We often become fixated on questions like, will they like my work? Or, what if I don't get the job? This focus on outcomes places our sense of success in the hands of others and diminishes the satisfaction we could feel from our own efforts. Stoicism offers a refreshing perspective here. Focus entirely on what you can control, your preparation, your dedication, your attitude, and let go of the outcome. Epictetus put it simply, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. By shifting our mindset to embrace the process, we release ourselves from the need for external validation and find fulfillment in doing our best. When we detach from results, even a rejection or a failure becomes easier to accept, as we know we committed ourselves fully to the effort. Practicing detachment doesn't mean becoming indifferent to goals or results. It means freeing ourselves from the emotional roller coaster tied to them. When we are overly attached to outcomes, we tend to experience a cycle of elation or despair based on things we can't control. However, when we focus on the process, we create a stable sense of purpose and peace. If we achieve the desired result, we can enjoy it as a bonus. If we don't, we can still take pride in our effort, knowing it was not wasted. This mindset builds resilience as it trains us to derive inner satisfaction from our actions, making us less vulnerable to external circumstances. By embracing detachment, we cultivate an inner steadiness that allows us to pursue our goals without fear of failure or rejection. To practice detachment from outcomes, try setting goals based on effort rather than achievement. For example, instead of setting a goal to get a promotion, focus on consistently improving your skills and contributing value to your team. Or if you're working on a creative project, focus on expressing yourself authentically and learning from the experience, rather than obsessing over others' reactions. Over time, this shift in focus helps build a mindset rooted in process over product, transforming how you approach both challenges and opportunities. You become resilient, able to embrace setbacks without losing momentum because your sense of fulfillment comes from within. When we detach from outcomes, we find a freedom that allows us to pursue our dreams wholeheartedly. We no longer live in the shadow of what-if scenarios. Instead, we are fully present, giving our best to each moment. As the Stoics remind us, life is unpredictable and outcomes are often beyond our reach. But in focusing on our efforts, we build a life centered on integrity, peace, and personal growth. With detachment from results, we unlock a resilient, unwavering strength that carries us forward with calm assurance, regardless of what lies ahead. Lesson 8. Cultivate inner peace with ataraxia. In Stoicism, there's a beautiful concept called ataraxia, which means a state of serene calmness and inner peace. Ataraxia is the Stoic goal of tranquility, a mind undisturbed by life's chaos, untouched by fleeting worries or the incessant pull of desires and fears. Achieving this state is not about escaping from the world, but about creating an inner fortress of calm that cannot be easily shaken by external events. In a world where we're constantly bombarded by demands, deadlines, and distractions, cultivating ataraxia is a profoundly transformative practice that allows us to face life's unpredictability with a calm, unflappable spirit. It's about learning to hold steady in any situation, knowing that our peace is rooted in something far deeper than the changing tides of circumstances. To reach ataraxia, the Stoics taught that we must free ourselves from the opinions and judgments of others, as well as from our own excessive desires and fears. Many of our worries come from comparing ourselves to others, seeking their approval, or measuring our worth by external achievements. Yet when we depend on outside validation for our happiness, we give away our peace to forces beyond our control. The Stoics encourage us to look within for a sense of fulfillment, building our self-worth on our character, values, and virtues. By focusing on what we can control, our responses, actions, and principles, we cultivate a grounded sense of self that is less affected by external praise or criticism. This shift allows us to find a sense of calm as we no longer rely on changing factors to feel steady and whole. An important practice in cultivating ataraxia is learning to observe our thoughts and emotions without attaching to them. In moments of anger, fear, or frustration, rather than reacting immediately, we can pause, breathe, and examine our feelings as they arise. This pause creates a space between stimulus and response, allowing us to choose how we act instead of letting emotions dictate our actions. For instance, if you find yourself feeling irritated by a colleague's comment, instead of reacting impulsively, you might take a moment to consider why it bothers you and whether it's worth disturbing your peace. In observing rather than reacting, we gain control over our responses, choosing actions that align with our values rather than with fleeting emotional impulses. This practice gradually builds an inner calm, allowing us to meet challenges with a steady heart. Another key to achieving ataraxia is accepting life's impermanence. The Stoics believed that everything is in a state of constant change. Our possessions, relationships, health, and even our thoughts and beliefs. By accepting this reality, we reduce our attachment to things we can't hold on to forever. Imagine walking through a beautiful garden. Instead of trying to pick every flower and keep it, you simply enjoy it as it is, knowing it's part of a moment that will soon pass. When we let go of the need to possess and control, we find a lighter way to live. We learn to appreciate what we have while it's here and to release it with grace when it changes or goes. This acceptance leads to a profound sense of peace as we no longer resist the natural ebb and flow of life. To cultivate ataraxia, start by setting aside a few minutes each day to meditate or reflect quietly, observing your thoughts without judgment. Notice any worries, anxieties, or desires, and remind yourself that they don't define you. They're just passing states of mind. Over time, this practice builds an awareness that helps you carry a sense of calm into your daily life. The more you practice this inner stillness, the less you'll feel affected by the inevitable ups and downs of life. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca wrote, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." In cultivating ataraxia, we learn to live fully, calmly and resiliently, finding a deep and lasting peace that allows us to navigate life's storms with grace and composure. Lesson 9. Serve others. Find purpose beyond the self. In Stoic philosophy, one of the highest callings is to live a life of service, finding purpose in contributing to the well-being of others. The Stoics believed that we are all interconnected and that true resilience and fulfillment come from focusing beyond our own needs, striving to make a positive difference in the lives around us. This outward focus not only aligns with Stoic virtues of wisdom, justice, and kindness, but also provides a sense of purpose that strengthens us, particularly in challenging times. When we engage in acts of service, whether big or small, we shift our perspective away from our own troubles, insecurities, and anxieties. By caring for others, we experience a profound sense of connection and purpose, which helps us build resilience against life's inevitable hardships. Consider how often we become consumed by our personal struggles, goals, or disappointments. Our minds become fixated on our own challenges, which can intensify feelings of stress, isolation, or dissatisfaction. However, when we turn our attention to the needs of others, we experience a shift in perspective. By supporting someone else, we're reminded that we are part of something larger, which often brings a sense of relief and renewed purpose. For instance, when we help a friend in need, volunteer in our community, or even lend a listening ear, we're contributing to a shared human experience. This connection uplifts both us and those we help, and it can be a powerful source of inner strength. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, wrote, "Man was made for the sake of one another," underscoring the Stoic belief that we fulfill our highest purpose when we use our talents, time, and resources to serve others. Serving others doesn't require grand gestures. Small acts of kindness can have a profound impact. Stoicism teaches us that resilience isn't just about enduring life's difficulties alone, but about finding strength in our interconnectedness. When we help others, we're not only supporting their well-being, but also reinforcing our own ability to face challenges with a balanced perspective. For example, if you're feeling overwhelmed at work, taking a moment to help a colleague with their task can shift your mindset, giving you a break from your own stress and building camaraderie. These simple acts foster a sense of community and mutual support, which are vital for building long-term resilience. This approach to life allows us to navigate difficult times without feeling isolated or disconnected, as we're part of a network of shared support. Furthermore, service brings meaning to our lives. When we focus solely on personal success or happiness, we may achieve fleeting moments of satisfaction, but these are often followed by feelings of emptiness or restlessness. In contrast, dedicating time to serve others creates a sense of lasting fulfillment. When we contribute positively to someone else's life, we find that our own life gains new depth and significance. This pursuit of purpose beyond the self reinforces our resilience, as it provides a foundation that remains stable even when we encounter personal setbacks. Knowing that we've made a difference in someone else's journey brings an inner strength that sustains us through our own challenges. To start incorporating service into your life, look for small, manageable ways to help others each day. Whether it's offering encouragement, sharing a skill, or simply being present for someone who needs support, each act of kindness strengthens both you and your community. In the Stoic view, this focus on others doesn't mean neglecting self-care or personal growth. It enhances it. As we uplift others, we become more grounded, connected, and resilient. Through service, we cultivate a life of purpose that allows us to meet challenges with grace and wisdom, knowing that our actions contribute to a greater good. Embracing this Stoic approach to service, we build not only our own resilience, but also a world that is stronger and kinder, one act at a time. Lesson 10: self-reflection is a superpower. Cultivate daily insight for growth. In Stoicism, self-reflection is considered a cornerstone of personal growth and resilience. The Stoics believed that examining one's own thoughts, actions, and motivations is essential for a life of virtue and fulfillment. By engaging in regular self-reflection, we gain valuable insights into our behavior, recognize our strengths and areas for improvement, and become more intentional in our choices. This practice allows us to live in alignment with our values, building a strong foundation of integrity and inner peace. When we reflect, we move beyond merely reacting to life's events and instead cultivate a deeper understanding of how we respond, why we feel certain emotions, and how we can adapt to become wiser and stronger. For the Stoics, daily self-reflection wasn't just a habit, but a superpower, one that turns everyday experiences into lessons and prepares us to meet challenges with resilience and grace. Consider how often we go through life on autopilot, reacting to situations without fully understanding the underlying causes of our emotions and actions. Without self-reflection, we miss opportunities to learn from our experiences and risk repeating mistakes. Stoic philosopher Seneca emphasized the importance of nightly reflection, suggesting that we ask ourselves at the end of each day, what bad habit have I put right today? Which fault did I take a stand against? In what respect am I better? This practice isn't about being self-critical or dwelling on our flaws, but about cultivating honest self-awareness and a commitment to growth. By gently assessing our day, we gain clarity on what went well and what could be improved, setting the stage for more intentional behavior and thoughtful choices tomorrow. Self-reflection also strengthens resilience by helping us understand our emotional triggers and our reactions to adversity. When we encounter a challenging situation, we can ask ourselves, what can I learn from this? How did I respond? And how could I respond better next time? This simple but powerful exercise trains us to look for growth opportunities in every experience, transforming setbacks into stepping stones. For instance, if you had a conflict at work, reflecting on it can help you identify whether certain assumptions or emotional responses influenced your behavior. By recognizing these patterns, you become better equipped to handle similar situations with greater calm and understanding in the future. In this way, self-reflection builds emotional intelligence and self-control, qualities that are vital for resilience. Moreover, self-reflection aligns us with our values, making it easier to live a life of purpose and integrity. When we take the time to examine whether our actions are consistent with our values, we reinforce our commitment to those principles, creating a more stable and authentic self. This alignment fosters a sense of inner peace, as we are no longer swayed by external pressures or fleeting emotions. For instance, if kindness is a core value, self-reflection can help you assess whether your actions reflect that value, encouraging you to make any adjustments needed to live more authentically. The Stoics understood that true resilience comes not from outward achievements, but from an unwavering commitment to one's principles and a life led with intention. To incorporate this Stoic practice into your daily routine, set aside a few quiet moments each evening to reflect on your day. Ask yourself questions like, did I act in line with my values today? What can I improve tomorrow? With consistent practice, self-reflection will become a guiding force that helps you navigate life's complexities with confidence and resilience. In reflecting on your day's experiences, you transform them into lessons, equipping yourself with the insight needed to grow and adapt. This habit of self-examination fosters a steady, resilient mind, prepared to face each new day with clarity, wisdom, and purpose. Through self-reflection, we don't just passively experience life. We actively shape our own growth, cultivating a resilience that is rooted in deep self-awareness and a lifelong commitment to improvement. Lesson 11. Embrace mortality. Live fully by remembering life's impermanence. The final and perhaps most profound lesson in Stoic resilience is the practice of memento mori, or remember you must die. While this may sound somber, it's actually a powerful tool for living a meaningful and resilient life. The Stoics believed that by contemplating our mortality, we can cultivate a deeper appreciation for each day, make wiser choices, and live with greater purpose and intention. Embracing the reality of life's impermanence encourages us to stop procrastinating, let go of trivial worries, and focus on what truly matters. Rather than fearing death, the Stoics taught that acknowledging it brings clarity and focus, reminding us to live with urgency and gratitude. This awareness of our limited time strengthens our resilience by prompting us to live more fully, valuing each moment as an irreplaceable part of our journey. Imagine how often we get caught up in petty grievances, endless to-do lists, or fears of what others might think. When we recognize that our time is finite, these worries begin to lose their grip on us. We realize that many of the things we stress about are ultimately insignificant in the grand scheme of life. By remembering that we won't be here forever, we gain perspective on what is truly worth our time and energy. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher-emperor, often reflected on his own mortality to stay focused on what really mattered, advising himself, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This perspective shift invites us to live with purpose, not postponing dreams, apologies, or expressions of love for a later date that may never come. Memento mori also serves as a reminder to cherish the people around us. How many times do we take loved ones for granted, assuming they will always be there? When we remember that life is fleeting, we become more present with the people who matter, taking the time to appreciate and connect deeply with them. This practice encourages us to express gratitude more openly, to forgive more freely, and to let go of petty grievances that create unnecessary barriers in our relationships. Instead of holding on to grudges or focusing on minor irritations, we can focus on the shared experiences, kindness, and love that enrich our lives. Embracing mortality in this way strengthens our relationships, grounding us in what truly matters and fostering resilience by keeping our hearts open to connection and compassion. On a personal level, memento mori encourages us to pursue our passions and values without delay, When we understand that tomorrow isn't guaranteed, we are motivated to make the most of today, seizing opportunities for growth, creativity, and joy. This mindset can free us from the paralysis of fear or self-doubt, empowering us to take risks, speak up, or try new things, knowing that every day is a unique opportunity. We become resilient in the face of fear because we understand that we don't have endless time to wait for the perfect moment. Life's impermanence fuels our courage, helping us live boldly and fully rather than with hesitation or regret. To incorporate memento mori into daily life, try starting each morning with a brief moment of reflection, reminding yourself that each day is a gift and that your time is precious. At the end of the day, consider what you did with that gift, whether you lived in alignment with your values and made the most of the moments you were given. This practice not only fosters gratitude, but also strengthens resilience, helping you meet life's challenges with a sense of perspective and purpose. Embracing mortality, rather than fearing it, allows us to live without reservation, building a life that is rich, meaningful, and deeply resilient. Through memento mori, we unlock a profound appreciation for life, becoming more present, intentional, and courageous in each day we are given. Lesson 12. Practice gratitude daily. Cultivate resilience through appreciation. Gratitude is a foundational practice in Stoic philosophy and a powerful tool for resilience. By focusing on what we already have, gratitude grounds us, shifts our attention from scarcity to abundance, and helps us cultivate a sense of peace and contentment regardless of external circumstances. The Stoics believed that gratitude not only enriches our lives, but also strengthens us, providing a buffer against the emotional turbulence caused by envy, dissatisfaction, and the relentless pursuit of more. In a world that often emphasizes what's lacking, whether it's wealth, status, or achievement, gratitude helps us recognize the value of what we already possess, making it one of the most effective ways to foster inner resilience. When we appreciate even the simplest aspects of life, we become more anchored and less vulnerable to the disappointments or challenges that inevitably come our way. A daily practice of gratitude reminds us that we don't need to rely on future accomplishments, possessions, or recognition to feel fulfilled. Instead, fulfillment is found in appreciating life as it is now. This mindset, rooted in Stoicism, encourages us to savor the present moment and find joy in things we might otherwise take for granted. A warm meal, the laughter of friends, the beauty of a sunrise, or the health that allows us to pursue our passions. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, frequently reflected on his gratitude for life's blessings, from small comforts to deeper relationships, using these reflections to ground himself in gratitude and keep his perspective balanced. For the Stoics, gratitude was not about ignoring difficulties or hardships, but about building the mental resilience to see beyond them, recognizing that life, even with its challenges, is filled with gifts. Practicing gratitude also shifts our focus away from what we cannot control. Much of our stress and dissatisfaction arise from obsessing over things outside our influence, other people's opinions, future outcomes, or events we can't change. Gratitude redirects our attention to what we have power over, such as our own attitudes, actions, and perceptions. By acknowledging the good already present in our lives, we reduce our need to control or force outcomes, accepting that what we have now is enough. This mental shift builds resilience by freeing us from the endless cycle of wanting and striving, which often creates more stress and disappointment than satisfaction. Gratitude becomes a form of emotional armor, allowing us to weather life's storms with a calm heart and a clear mind, knowing that our happiness doesn't rely on external achievements or circumstances. To incorporate this Stoic principle into daily life, start a simple gratitude practice. Each morning or evening, take a few minutes to write down 3 things you're grateful for. Specific people, experiences, or even challenges that taught you valuable lessons. Reflect on why you're grateful for these things and how they enhance your life. By focusing on concrete aspects rather than vague ideas, you'll develop a deeper appreciation for the present and start noticing blessings in places you might have overlooked before. Over time, this practice not only cultivates a habit of appreciation, but also builds emotional resilience, as you'll have a steady well of positivity to draw from even on difficult days. When life becomes challenging, gratitude reminds us that hardship is only one part of our experience and that we still have much to be thankful for. Ultimately, gratitude allows us to live more fully, with less fear and more joy. It nurtures a sense of abundance and strengthens our ability to handle setbacks with grace. Through this daily practice, we reinforce the Stoic lesson that fulfillment doesn't come from acquiring more, but from valuing what we already have. Gratitude is a quiet, resilient strength that helps us face life's difficulties with optimism, humility, and a deep-seated sense of peace. By cultivating gratitude, we don't just enrich our own lives, we also inspire others, creating a ripple effect of positivity and resilience that uplifts those around us. Stoic resilience isn't about living without challenges, it's about transforming the way we approach them. As we've explored each lesson, from embracing fate and focusing on what we control to finding strength in adversity and practicing gratitude, Stoicism offers us tools to build inner strength, stay grounded, and live with purpose, even in uncertain times. It's a philosophy that invites us to see life's obstacles as essential parts of our journey, teaching us how to navigate them with calm and courage rather than fear or frustration. Each of these principles is more than just an idea, it's an invitation to apply wisdom daily, to live with intention, and to turn setbacks into opportunities for growth. Stoic resilience isn't something you master overnight. It's a mindset you cultivate, a daily practice that slowly shifts the way you see yourself and the world around you. Whether you're facing everyday stress or life's bigger challenges, Stoicism can help you stand strong and steady, finding purpose and peace in every experience. As you continue on your path, remember that resilience is built one moment at a time. Each pause before reacting, each conscious effort to live with gratitude, each choice to see adversity as a teacher, these small acts add up to create a more resilient, fulfilled life. Embrace the journey of living stoically, knowing that these lessons are there to support you, shape you, and ultimately help you become the best version of yourself.